Water. We drink it, we cook with it, we bathe in it. Water is an essential part of our life. But what if I told you the water that comes out of your tap every day could be making you sick?
Are you drinking contaminated tap water?
There are new concerns tonight about contaminated tap water on Long Island.
A group of unregulated, potentially toxic chemicals, part of American life for decades, they are being increasingly detected in the water of thousands of American communities.
128 Manorville and Calverton homes have contaminated private well water. Tests turn up cancer-causing chemicals.
There are three things you need to be concerned about when it comes to clean water: parabens, 1,4-dioxane, and PFAs. Let's start with parabens. Parabens are a group of chemicals widely used as artificial preservatives in cosmetic and body care products since the 20s. Shampoo, shaving creams, gels, the very things you and I use to feel clean and healthy contain parabens. Studies have shown that these synthetic preservatives can mimic the hormone estrogen and suggest a potential link between parabens and breast cancer. So, the parabens are literally going down our drains and into the ground, seeping into our groundwater and aquifers. While the main source of water for New York City comes from the Catskills, the main source for Long Island is aquifers. There are three major aquifers under Long Island: the Upper Glacial, the McAfee, and the Lloyd. The second thing you need to be concerned about when it comes to your water is 1,4-dioxane. When the parabens break down, they convert to 1,4-dioxane, another forever chemical that plagues our drinking water. It's highly mixable in water and is challenging to remove. The U.S. EPA has classified 1,4-dioxane as a likely human carcinogen. Low-level exposure to 1,4-dioxane over a person's lifetime can increase their risk of cancer. High exposures over a shorter amount of time can damage cells in the liver, kidneys, and respiratory system. 1,4-dioxane is not going away. It's part of our lives and our water. Number 3, PFAs. PFAs are widely used, long-lasting chemicals found in many different consumer, commercial, and industrial products. They break down very slowly over time. Because of their widespread use and their persistence in the environment, many PFAs are found in the blood of people and animals and are present at low levels in a variety of food products. PFAs are a big problem. They're found in water, the air, fish, and soil across the nation and around the globe. But did you know that Long Island has become a microcosm of that problem? Scientific studies have shown that exposure to some PFAs in the environment may be linked to harmful health effects in humans and animals. Long Island water is polluted. Contamination of the aquifers has been identified by the state as coming from several different areas: the Northrop Grumman's aerospace facility and Navy facilities. This map shows the Grumman plant plume. The plume contains about 24 carcinogenic chemicals which came from the solvent that Grumman used to clean aircraft parts. It affects the wells that provide drinking water for Bethpage, Plain Edge, South Farmingdale, North Massapequa, parts of Levittown, Seaford, Wantagh, and Massapequa Park. The plume continues to move south. Another source of contamination are smokestacks. These stacks found all over Long Island push contaminants and fumes into the air, which then drop to the ground and into our aquifers. Next are farms. Oh boy. All the pesticides and fertilizers used on these farms leach into the ground and again into our aquifers. It was reported in June of 2022 that Long Island residents had the highest parts per million of contaminants in their water in the entire state of New York. It was further reported that Long Island water had more than 270 types of contaminants that cause cancer, low birth weight, and other illnesses. the main contaminants being 1,4-dioxane and PFAS. So, what are you going to do to protect you and your family from this? Don't wait for someone you love to get sick before you take action. Every day counts. You have options. Bottled water isn't the solution. The water can sit in a plastic bottle for 1, 2, possibly 3 years before it's opened. And now you're drinking the chemicals that leached into the water from that plastic bottle. What you need is fresh, clean, toxin-free filtered water. And that's where Phountain comes in. We're here to help keep you and your family healthy. We offer filtration systems that you can count on for the cleanest, healthiest, and freshest water from every faucet in your home. Listen to some of our customers who have made the change to our in-home water filtration system.
I have a whole water filtration system in my house. The number one priority for me and my family is the safety of my family. And the number one thing I could do is protect my family is what they ingest in their bodies and what they drink. And drinking our water, knowing that it's polluted out there, and not knowing what chemicals are in our water system, makes me scared for me and my family. I live in Northport, and in Northport we have a high cancer rate. And we don't know what happened with the VA or our school district where our water wells were polluted, our water systems were polluted, where our junior high school was closed for 1 year because kids were dying of cancer. I did have an uncle who had pancreatic cancer, and I'm a firm believer that he had well water when the 70s happened in West Babylon, and he was drinking out of a well, and it had an odor to it, the water. And I know for a fact, not for that, but water, our cells are made of 99% water. What we put in our bodies is very important. So it's something that I do not take lightly, as I said. So I have a personal experience of it, and everybody knows about someone who's getting sick or whatnot, and we need to know that our water is pure. I need to try everything I can to prioritize my family and its safety. And the only way I was going to stay in my home is with a water filtration system. Because it's not just the water I cook with, and it's not just the water I drink, it's the water I cook with, it's the water I shower with, it's the water that we use every day. And that is so important to me, because drinking a glass of water is one thing, but when I put water from my faucet to my stove and I heat it, when I heat that water, I don't know what chemicals are in there or activating that water. So nothing's more important to me than having a pure water system, the purest that I could have for my family and I. Nothing beats putting my cup under a sink and knowing that I'm getting the purest water I have. Nothing beats it. It's cold, it's refreshing, and it's not one of these filter systems where I have to change something or anything like that. It has a backflow. I'm not good at maintenance. So I purchased a system that was basically maintenance free for me. It has a backflow system, it washes itself out, and it's fantastic. What can I say, you know? We spend money on everything all day. And we spend money on stuff that we throw in our closets and we don't use, and we're like, well, what is this? We spend thousands here, thousands there. What we have to do is prioritize our health. We see what happened in Ohio with a train that derailed, and we see all the chemicals that flooded into their ground, and our government gives two craps about us. So what we have to do as citizens sometimes is take it in our own hands and say, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can for my family, because you don't know when the next waste is going to be deposited, or you don't even know what they're going to tell you, what's true or false. Case in point, 9/11, they told us for years that the air was clean. And now look at all these lawsuits and these cancers. And we have to be proactive and do what we can for our family.
Actually, I've been aware of the problems on Long Island water for many, many years. During my high school years, I had an opportunity to work in the evenings in a factory that made eyeglass lenses in West Babylon. One of the things that I noticed at the end of the day, the waste product of this plastic manufacturing was dumped into the ground behind the factories that I worked, and it disturbed me then. I actually brought it up to my manager, and I was a nobody. had no power, and that was the company policy. And there were 6 people on this conveyor belt in this factory, and all 6 died from the same form of cancer. So from that point on, I was made very much aware of how our groundwater was being contaminated. We all know about, Grumman on Long Island, and we know about, other manufacturing plants that maybe are less scrupulous in their handling of potentially hazardous wastes. But this has been going on for a long time. My wife had some stomach issues, and because of my concern with water many years ago, when we moved here, I had water delivered from a company that would bring bottled water in for us to drink and cook with. It wasn't really helping her. It was better than tap water, but it still was something that I felt was lacking in it, So Rose Taylor, who is the wife of Glenn Taylor, who owns PHountain, is a friend of mine and a colleague. She recommended that we try the pH water. So I took a few gallons from her home and brought it here, and it was only a few days that we noticed a difference in how my wife was feeling. So it was an easy decision. Considering the history of groundwater and everything in New York and in this area, and how it made a difference in her physically, we had the system installed. And I gotta tell you, it was one of the best things I think I've ever done. We no longer use bottled water. We use tap water exclusively for everything. The flavor is the best. I love drinking water. It actually tastes like water, how we remember fresh water should taste, without any residue. There's no chlorine smell. There's nothing like that. The water is smoother to the touch, and we use it exclusively. And I think it's probably the best investment we made in our health. We have a full house water filtration, but it's not just filtering the water, it's changing the pH of the water. My understanding of it, and I'm not a water scientist, but my understanding of it, it raises the elevation of the pH in order to, I guess, neutralize some of the acidic effects or some of the effects of acidic water, I should say. And I guess the water that's delivered through our water system, not the filtration system, but through the town system, has an acidity to it. And that can cause gastrointestinal problems, as well as skin problems and eye problems, and a whole host of other things. And by elevating the pH of the water, we don't have those effects any longer. I have grandchildren who have sensitivities to their skin, and when they used to come here and take a bath at the end of a play day or something like that, they used to have rashes. They would be sensitive to whatever was in the water that we were having delivered into the tub. And actually, last year we filled our pool with the filtered water. And it made a world of difference. There were no longer skin rashes or sensitivities, no longer eye irritations from the chlorine. There was no longer, even changes in hair color or brittleness or hair quality, the brittleness and hair quality from chlorine and other contaminants in the water. We had none of that last year, and noticeably so. That the family comments on, what the pool felt like, and it looked beautiful too. I mean, it had a different clarity to it. So it's made a big difference in our lives. Since we got it, and family and friends have sampled it, we've been able to not convince, but coordinate the delivery of the system to other family members. And actually, we had a whole house system delivered to our daughter out in California. The water in California leaves a lot to be desired, very sulfuric and unpleasant to drink, certainly cooking with it. We're Italians, we make pasta. And you can taste the difference in how the pasta is cooked when it's cooked in water that is pure. The system is virtually maintenance-free. The installation process was seamless and professional. The team sent over a plumber and I guess a technician and once plumbing it into the main water system, I guess they program it so that it runs for a period of time, and then it cycles to a refreshing type of program where it cleans itself on a weekly basis. So it's an ongoing, perpetual system. We made the decision to install the system, as I said, the real impetus was my wife's condition and her sensitivity to whatever was in the water that we were using. But I've been considering some type of filtration system for many years. I just never really found anything that made a lot of sense to me. Having this now and realizing and appreciating, the quality of this water that we're consuming, it makes sense for everybody to have this. I mean, it's not an expensive system, and how do you put a price tag on your health? You really do need to be proactive in how you take care of yourselves and how do you take care of your families.
I've known for many years that the water quality on Long Island is very poor. I don't care what they say. They're very poor. The cancer rates in Suffolk County are astronomical. Is it due to the water? Is it due that some of these developments were built on landfills? I'm almost positive it is. But a lot of my neighbors, they do. Their families are coming down with cancer. They've been healthy their whole life. When they moved into this neighborhood many years ago, a lot of people started getting sick. Right across the street from me, we've talked about it. And when I asked them, how did this happen? They swear that it has something to do with the ground, the water, and maybe the soil, being that this neighborhood probably was built on a landfill. Because when we dig up when we do any kind of work at the house here, when I have my pool put in, when I do any kind of gardening, the things that come up under the ground, metals, plastics, glass, it's all kinds of different materials that shouldn't be. I test the water frequently. The water I tested prior to this system was very acidic, it was very yellow. As soon as this system was put in, the water is at an alkaline level now, which is perfect. Out of my sinks, when I brush my teeth, the bathrooms, my refrigerator, the kitchen sink, it's all the same, it's all alkaline water. From what I read up to this point, it says cancer can't grow in an alkaline body. It thrives in an acidic body. So it's a selling point. You tell the people that, you have a brand new filtration system put in your house over here. All the water that comes out of your faucets, everything that you drink in here is all filterized, it's alkaline. That's a selling point for me. I know if I was buying a house and said all my water is filtered, clear, clean, pure water, that's a home run. I mean, in my eyes, it's a small price to pay. Why take the chance on drinking the water knowing that it's bad, when you can just get this done and take care of it now? Why wait for somebody to get sick or come down with cancer or worse and then say I should have done it? You got the chance to do it now. You can't put a price on it, and it's really not a bad price considering what you're getting out of it.
So there you have it. There it is, the situation with our water on Long Island. Are you going to be mindful about it, or are you just going to sit back and wait for something to happen? Give us a call today. We'll set up an appointment with you to meet you and your family. We'll come by, we'll do a free water test. We'll even test your pH level in your body, because we know being alkaline is much, much better than being acidic. And we'll look at your situation if you're a candidate for a whole home water filtration system. We look forward to having you become part of our Fountain family.